Hello everyone, and welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am One Wild Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we have done what we can in Glitter Gulch Mine, so we are actually going to be moving on to a whole new world. A whole new place I've never knew. La da 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 da. I don't know the lyrics to that song. But basically, yeah, we are going to be completely going to a new world here. And the next world is one of my personal favorites to explore. And it's definitely an interesting one. It has lots of interesting mechanics to deal with. And it is basically filled to the absolute brim with minigames. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. We have access to it. We just, just do the jigsaw puzzle as always. My general advice for the jigsaw puzzle will always stay the same. Do the outer edges first, then do the inner tiles, and that's easy enough to do. I'm by no means good at jigsaw puzzles, though, ladies and gentlemen. Like, if I can do these jigsaw puzzles, you can do these jigsaw puzzles. That's mainly what I'm getting at here, because the jigsaw puzzles are... A simple jigsaw puzzle will probably take me an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really not much of a puzzle person. It's too much mindset, too much thinking that goes into them there. I'd much rather shoot things personally, but that's just me. What can I tell you? But anyway, through the power of giant laser beams, we do have access to Witchy World, Gruntilda's own personal theme park. And what's kind of interesting is a lot of the rides in Witchy World, I do believe, are actually shut down because they're basically too dangerous for people. So that's kind of interesting. Typical Gruntilda has a theme park that's too dangerous for people to even enjoy, but there we are. That's just how things go, really, isn't it? Yes. But of course, to get to Witchy World, we do need to gain access to a brand new area of the Isle of Hags. And in order to gain access to this brand new island, this brand new area even, we do need to make use of our brand new fire eggs, because if you notice, there's a gate in the way. And if you notice on top of the gate, there is it. Well, if the camera ever bloody turns. Well, what am I doing past me? Come on, point to the sorting thing. There we go. There is a fire symbol. Shoot the fire symbol. Bada bing, bada boom. And the doorway will open. Open sesame. Oh, yes, that's the way I like it. So yeah, just shoot that with the flame eggs, and basically you'll gain access to the new area of the Isle of Hags. And this area is actually quite an interesting one, because this one actually, as you can tell, has a Wumba Wigwam to the left, and it's an optional place. It is probably the most... Yeah, I would say it's probably the most optional thing in the entire game, but let's just say her wigwam there is something I'm going to be talking about at a later time. We will be dealing with that soonish. Actually, I don't even know if we actually walk into it in this part. If we walk into it in this part, she'll explain what she wants, but if we don't, I'm sorry. Oh jeez, that still look painful. I do like that sometimes, like every now and then Jam Jaws has a tiny chance of doing a stupid animation. It's kind of like in Banjo-Kazooie 1, where it had like a minute, like 1% chance of transforming into a washing machine when you got transformed by Bumbo, which I never actually did show off in my LP, because lo and behold, since my LP, I haven't been able to get the sorting animation to trigger. It's such a rare animation, but yeah, sometimes in that game, Mumbo will transform you into a washing machine, and it's a neat little gag. I am actually kind of glad it is such a low chance of that happening, because, well, otherwise I'll get sick of transforming into it by accident. But either way, Humba Wumba here has a special spell for us that we can't actually utilize until we gain access to the Mega Globo. And this is where Stop and Swap comes back into effect, ladies and gentlemen, because if you recall, in Banjo-Kazooie there was an ice key in Freezeezy Peak. Well, obviously Stop and Swap doesn't bloody work in this game, so what does that mean? Well, it means there is an ice key somewhere in the world that we do need to collect, and that ice key will lead us to the magical, the mighty, the glorious Mega Globo to use his super special secret sexy transformation. And The transformation is definitely one that I do dig. I won't spoil it for people who want to not be spoiled, but trust me, if you know me, as in what I'm into and the things I like, you'll know why that transformation is bloody awesome and why I love it. But, I digress. It's time to meet Mrs. Borky. If you recall, we actually helped her husband out in Banjo Kazooie 1, who was, actually, we didn't really bloody help him, did we? We just sort of raced him and dove on his stomach. But either way, Mrs. Borky's kids here are missing. They are basically littered about this theme park, and we do need to go out of our way to actually pick them up. And right from the get-go, we do need to find these buttons in order to activate these stands to get the fast food restaurants open. Because otherwise, we will not be able to, well, basically get the kids back. We need to utilize these fast food restaurants in order to get the kids back to her. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? And this is a quest that we're not going to be finishing our first time through. I'm going to finish up most of the mission for the Borky's kids here, but we won't be doing it all the first time through because we do actually need to revisit this world. What a surprise. A bit later on in order to do it, so it's kind of unfortunate, but there we are indeed. Also, you can use the grenade eggs to blow up basically everything. Like, we picked up the grenade eggs earlier, and these are the best grenade type in the entire... The best egg type in the entire game. They destroy enemies, they destroy things, they cause a big explosion. Grenade eggs are the shit. They are my jam, and I love them so much. I mean, it's like I'm shooting massive grenade explosives at people. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Hoi. And when we get our upgrade to our eggs later on, those things become even more broken and useful, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. Yes, there is an egg upgrade we can pick up so we can hold more eggs, but this here is Witchy World, and this is probably around the first point of the game where you'll probably look at the world and be probably a little overwhelmed at the size, because the game slowly starts to creep up in terms of size, in terms of the world size, and I know a lot of people's biggest issues with this game is some of the worlds are just too big. I mean, they never get to the same ridiculous level as Donkey Kong 64, but, you know, some of these worlds are freaking massive in size, especially if you compare the worlds in this one compared to Banjo Kazooie 1. There's a lot more areas to go to, there's a lot more to explore. So, some people may not like that too much. I'm a bit half and half. Like, on one hand, I love the extra room, I love the extra size and scale of everything and the extra places to explore, but on the other hand, it does make collecting things a bit more of a pain because of the scope. So, you know, it's a bit of a... I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the size of things here. Like, personally, I think Banjo-Kazooie are the perfect size levels, but that's just me. What can I tell you? Also, slot machine motherfuckers are rotated around a giant big top tent. We can't deal with them just yet, but don't worry, they will be getting their comeuppance. Well, actually, I say we can deal with them because the grenade eggs will actually explode them into tiny little dirty pieces, but those are a waste of eggs, and I have my own personal way of dealing with those things, but that's just me. Anyway, just pop on up here. This is... You'll be surprised how easy it is to fall off this sodding thing, so just be a bit careful coming across here. And there is a Jiggy awaiting us. Oh, yes. The shadow just sort of popped in there. That's kind of weird. Oh well. Either way, it's probably the easiest Jiggy in this entire stage to pick up. It's the first one you should pick up. And also jumping off leads us to these musical notes, which otherwise you'd probably forget about. Like... This game is a lot easier in terms of collecting the musical notes compared to Banjo Kazooie 1, and it's purely because the musical notes are in a lot easier areas to find. Like, when I've been playing this game, I've never, with the exception of one instance when I forgot about the Crystal Mounds and Clear Gulch Mine, I've never lost notes. Every single time I played this game, I've always got 100% on notes, and it's even without trying, you know, ladies and gentlemen, notes are just very easy to come by in this one, and some people would probably put that as a knock against the game, but honestly, nah. I don't mind it too much. I think it smooths out the experience a bit. But I digress. Anyway, moving onwards, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cave of Horrors, which actually contains a familiar face. Hello, Gobi. Seem to be rocking a glorious beard now, and you know, I don't actually remember. Did he have a beard in the first game? I don't think he did. It's been so long since I last played that now. Like, the last time I played Banjo Tooie 1 was the LP I made for it, so I can't remember if he had a beard or not. Either way, we do meet up with Gobi yet again, and we do need to free him from the clutches of Gruntilda in this theme park. So just blow the cage open with a grenade. Bada bing, bada boom. And he's still on his way to that sodding lava world from the first time round. If you recall back in Gobi's Valley, he did say he's off to the lava world, and originally there was meant to be a lava world in Banjo Kazooie 1, and it basically got moved to this game. It was originally called Mount Fire Eyes, if I do recall correctly, and yeah, a lot of things that were originally going to be in Banjo Kazooie 1, like a lot of worlds and whatnot, have actually just flat out got moved to this game as well, and just been modified, so they're bigger and they got a whole new twist compared to what they would have had originally, which, you know, I kind of like that. I kind of like when games do that. They use unused ideas and content and sequels and whatnot. I don't know, it's something I've always appreciated. What can I tell ya? Like how Sonic 2 was originally meant to have Hidden Palace Zone, but they moved it into Sonic 3, for example. You know, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we can't deal with that dinosaur just yet, but that is the first instance of us needing to utilize Chuffy the train. We do need to grab hold of the train in order to basically get that sodding dinosaur home, because as you can guess, there's a dinosaur world in this game, and he doesn't belong here in the theme park. How that sodding thing got here in train and got tickets, I don't know. I mean, the thing doesn't even have fingers. Like, maybe he asked for a ticket and he just picked it up with it by its mouth. In that case, wouldn't the ticket get ruined if it's a paper ticket? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but honestly, if you pick up like a ticket or something, wouldn't the saliva ruin it? I guess it depends what material the ticket's made out of. Like, if it's a laminated plasticky ticket, then it should be fine, I suppose. But what am I talking about? Anyway, moving on to this area. This here is actually the train station area of Witchy World, so you be sure to come in here and activate the train switch as soon as you find the sodding thing. And whenever you go into a brand new world, we do need to find a switch dedicated to opening the train stations. So, you know, when we enter a world, we can't just automatically use the train to get into the world via train. We do need to find the train switch. And the train isn't in every world. You can't access the train in every single world of this game. Like, the water level, for example, we can't use the train in that one. But, and yes, there is a water level. But basically, whenever you get the chance to, if you know that the train's meant to be in a certain world, one of the first things you should probably do is just activate the train switch, just to make your life a lot easier. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? And whenever you do want to get the train to go into the world you are in, just walk up to the train sign and just talk to it, and basically Chuffy will automatically start heading on towards you. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? And if you want to ride Chuffy himself, you can, you know, Chuffy the train itself, you can jump right on into the actual cockpit and just press the giant go button, and it will ask you, hey, where do you want to go? So you can use this as a means of transportation as well. It's a nice way to get around the world once you've opened up all the train stations, and trust me, it makes getting from area to area in this game a hell of a lot quicker than, say, leaving a world, finding the warp point to go back to the world you know, the main world entrance. Now you can just take the train, which is a lot more smoother, I do think. But yes, run, my dino friend. Anyway, you probably also saw me punch a kid in the face. Basically, that was one of Barky's kids. There's 3 of them located throughout the course of this world. The one I punched in the face, you always have to hit, otherwise you won't go home. But there's 2 others, including a fat kid and the girl. And those 2, you basically need your food from the vending machines in order to get them to go to their mother, which is kind of annoying. Bloody bribery, I tells you. Now, if you notice as well, there was a food sign as well. If you take any food from Witchy World and try to leave the world with it, Grunty will be like, nope, you can't take it with you. And I honestly don't know why. It's a really weird mechanic, and it is actually used for a puzzle later on, so I guess that's probably why the whole thing exists, but I digress. Anyway, just go behind the fries venter, and boom, it's opened this place up. You know, this is kind of handy, actually, just having switches. I wish I had switches like that, you know, out and about in the middle of the night in town. And I'm just like, oh, I want to pop into game and pick up a game. But, oh, look, it's past 8 o'clock. Game is closed. Game is the British, basically the British equivalent for GameStop for you Americans out there. And, so what do? Well, just push the button. Boom, game opens up, I can buy a game. You know, that'd be so handy. I know that's something that would never happen, just because physically it's impossible for that to work. But you know, it's a neat idea. You know, having shop on demand buttons. I'd be behind that. Yeah, I got nothing. But anyway, yeah, we do need, like I said, we do need to go and talk to Salty Joe there and get some fries off him and get the burgers off Al from the other store as well. And inside this tent, we can actually receive random prizes, like a beating. Thanks, I guess. If you're lucky enough when you go in there, you can sometimes get things like full refills of health, and I do believe she will actually tell you a cheat code that will give you invulnerability, which I will not be showing off in this playthrough. You know, I want to play the game as fair as possible. The only cheat codes I will be activating are cheat codes I get legitimately through collecting stuff. So, yeah, I'm not going to show off any stupid cheats like infinite health. But, yeah, you know, you can get some stuff off her, some fancy smancy things. I'm not sure if she's the one that teaches you the cheat code, but I know somewhere in this game the game tells you the cheat code for infinite health. I'm assuming it's her because it's that one hut seems to be such a random chance thing. Like, one moment you could earn a beating, the next you could earn not a jiggy, because that would be kind of unfair if they relegated a jiggy to that sort of thing. 1 minute you can earn a beating, the next you can earn lots and lots of health, I suppose? I don't know. But anyway, I do kind of like how this world is kind of segmented off. It's like it's segmented to different areas. For example, we're in the Wild West area now. There's a space area. I don't know. I've always liked that as a kid. I've always enjoyed going between the different areas and exploring them. And it's kind of like a real amusement park in terms of how it's really structured. You know, you got a giant tent in the center, a giant main attraction, and then loads of smaller attractions all around. And I dig it. What can I tells you? What can I tells you? Indeed. Yes. But anyway, just pop up here. Hey, cool. We finished up a Ginger family. Neat. Just move on up by here anyway, and you see this test of strength thing on Bob. Now, there is a specific way to actually go about completing this. You can't just use the same move 3 times. So, what I advise is doing a ground pound once, doing the drill twice, and then when you do the 3rd hit, grab a grenade egg, and blast the switch, and the Cactus of Strength will give you a fantastic, nice and easy jiggy. And trust me, that one puzzle spun me out when I was younger. Alternatively, you could also use the Breagle Bash ability, which do we have yet, or do we pick that up later on? I can't remember. Either way, there is a Breagle Bash ability where we just double tap B. I think we might have it already, but I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long. The only problem with doing these LPs in such a segmented way is sometimes you forget about what you've done. But I digress. It's time to move into WUMBA'S Wigwam and get her next transformation, and really, she wants me to collect that Globo to give to her. Can't she just look to her right and say, oh, cool, the Globo? Either way, just grab the Globo and chuck it into her pool, and we'll be able to transform into one of the most, well, not broken, one of the most powerful transformations in the entire game, ladies and gentlemen. I kid you not. This here, folks, is the van. And it looks oddly adorable. a lot of the transformations in this game do look oddly adorable. Just wait until you get to the dinosaur world. Like, I literally I didn't squee, but I literally went, "Ah!" the first time I was playing, so. But anyway, this year, the van is 100% invulnerable. You cannot get hurt when you're in van mode. You will run over enemies like they are nothing. They will run into you and die. And we're going to use these vans in order to destroy these slot machines, because we do need to destroy these to gain access to tickets. When you get all of the tickets, we'll gain access to the big top at the very center of the world. And, well, that basically houses the boss fight of this world. So I'm basically I'm going to be leaving that for last, but, yeah, I absolutely love just driving around in this truck, you know. It's surprisingly maneuverable, considering it's literally just a van. And you can also open up doorways, special van doorways, in order to collect a load of collectibles. And trust me, we're going to be making use of this thing quite a lot, you know, folks. One also extra thing this van has is the ability to pay vending coins, vending areas even. So a lot of the attractions in this world, basically, you need to pay to enter. But Banjo doesn't have coins. There is no way for Banjo to get hold of coins. So how do you gain access to these attractions? Well, the van itself has coins built into its back. So you basically need to use the vans to unlock a lot of the areas, a lot of the parts of this world, you know, folks. And unfortunately, this is probably one of the few instances of the game where we're going to be transforming into a van multiple times just to enter some areas, because to gain access to a couple of areas, we do need to turn the power on, and to turn the power on, we need Mumbo to use his magic spells. But to get Mumbo, we need to use the van to pay to enter Mumbo's area, you know, so it's one of those really annoying instances where we need to change into the van, then we need to change into Mumbo, then we need to change back into the van in order to go to the way we want, and it's a little bit tedious, I won't lie, it's a little bit annoying, but, you know, it could be worse. Could be worse. Could be bloody better, but it could be worse. Anyway, this next area that we just unlocked, this is the Inferno, and the doorway always terrified me as a child, but don't worry about the doorway, it's really nothing. Just walk into it. I don't even think you get hurt by the door. Don't quote me on that, you might be able to. But yeah, this is one of my favorite areas, just because it looks so cool. It's just lava, everything. The lighting looks amazing. Mumbo's skull has horns for some reason. I don't know, I just love the way this place looks. I've always have, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've nothing. Well, actually, technically, it's the exact opposite of cool. It's pretty hot, if you will. But basically, I like this area, but there isn't much to do in there, sadly, so we won't be seeing too much of it. It's like, we're going to be using that area primarily for maybe two things, you know, folks. Basically, getting Mumbo and getting a Jiggy, that's about it. But you still need to take the van in there anyway, because there is a doorway that we do need to access, and only the van can access those doorways, so, you know, there is that. What can I tell you? I do actually believe this is all we can do with the van for the time being. So we're going to transform right back now, but don't fret, folks. That isn't the last we've seen of the magnificent Banjo van. We'll see that more in the next couple of parts. Well, within the next couple of parts, we'll be seeing the van again. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. Fantastic. But now we're going to climb all the way up this gigantic ladder and snake eat our way up here because, well, basically, this is a... I'm trying to think of the word. It's a... Oh, Jesus, what the hell is the word? It's a lift. There you go, I'll just go with lift. That will allow us to gain access from Wild West land to Space land very, very quickly, and we do actually need to utilize this in order to gain access to a mini-game that we will be playing a bit later down the line, but first things first, we do need to actually tightrope our way across to the middle of this place just to activate the lift itself, and once the lift is activated, bada bing, bada boom, we can jump on it at will, just push the B button, and have a fantastic, delicious, lovely looking scenic tour ride. where we get a nice overview of it. No, Kazooie. A nice overview of the world. I love the music transitions, but I don't know. One thing I've always liked about the Banjo games is how they have the music. The music changes to suit the area you are in, and I've always appreciated that about the Banjo games. But Banjo, why didn't you grab that? You were on it, for Christ's sake. Hoi. But either way, we do need to gain our access to this area by here in order to basically open up the doorway by here, which leads, believe it or not, to Glitter Gulch Mine. If you recall, we did actually see a giant floating box when we were visiting that world. Well, basically, that floating box is about to finally have a purpose, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally going to have something to do with it. So just hit the switch because it'll give us an easy way up here so we don't have to worry about shimmying across anymore. And hit the big red button. Don't worry, it's not self-destruct, it just opens up the shutters. Like, that'll be some shit, wouldn't it? You hit the big red button, suddenly the entire world explodes. I would be like, whoa, oops. Yeah, this floating box that we saw is basically a ride. This is a saucer of peril, ladies and gentlemen. And we can't access, we can't utilize it and use it just yet, because we do need to power up the actual the ride itself. But I figured we may as well actually open it up right away beforehand because, well, simply put, it's easier to have the jump pad there instead of having to worry about shimmying across with electrifying, like this little shimmy platform we use to get across there gets electrified when the power's on. So I figured it's easier to get an easy way up there done first before we deal with adding power to the place. But that's just me. That is just me, indeed. Anyway, this here is the Airborne Air Gaming, where basically it allows you to use our egg powers while we are in the sky. Be sure to pick this up, we need it. Otherwise we cannot beat the boss fight. Trust me, and this is a power-up we're going to be using a hell of a lot during the game as well anyway, so trust me, it's such a useful move. You will want to pick this up, because we're going to be doing a lot of flying, ladies and gentlemen, and alongside that flying we're going to be doing a lot of shooting. So, in fact, we need that power-up just to do a mini-game in this world as well, because there is a mini-game that involves us flying around and shooting targets, but, at least does it? I think it does. That's either this world or a different world. I tend to get mixed up, but either way, I know there's a mini game at some point that we need that power up to do as well. So, But with that, that is it for this part, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all next time as we continue on with the exploration of Witchy World. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't be sheepish, and I'll catch you after. Bye.